please tell me I'm a good person. Please don't get mad. Please, please, please just do not ever tell me that I did something wrong. Please, I cannot hear it. I don't want to fail. I want to do it perfectly. Please accept me. Please do not abandon me. Please do not ever tell me that I hurt you, because that will break me. Please, 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 please. All kinds of thoughts that the people pleaser subconsciously or consciously has when pleasing other people. Hey there, my name is Myrthe Glasbergen. I'm the founder of Beyond Psychology, and I'm also an occupational health psychologist, life and job coach, singer and creator, and a recovering people pleaser, most definitely. In this video, I want to talk about people pleasing, what it is, why you do it, how it is created, or when you created this mechanism to keep you safe, and how you can heal from it, overcome it, or rather learn to live with it. For now, as always, set yourself a nice cup of tea and let's dive into it. If you're watching this video, you probably already know what people pleasing is. You probably searched for this video, or it came up in your feed and the algorithm knows you are a pleaser, so he says, yo, watch this video, maybe it can help you. The algorithm knows us better than ourselves, right? But for the people who do not know what people pleasing is, it's actually a tendency or rather a relationship mechanism or a protection mechanism that you use to keep yourself safe in social situations. And you have created this mechanism when you were already a very young child and you grew up in a unsafe, emotionally immature environment, or you were bullied at school, you grew up in a very religious environment where blaming, shaming, and punishment were very present. It could also be that you have experienced trauma, had abusive parents, addicted parents, emotionally immature parents, as I said, or grandparents, or any other people in your surroundings that were your primary attachment figures and that made you feel unsafe over a prolonged period of time. And feeling unsafe, you learned that to please others, to make sure that they feel good, to conform to what they expect of you, to adapt to their state of being, their emotional state of being, to just say yes, never say no, to not have your own opinion, etc., would keep you safe. And if you learn that that will keep you safe, this is a mechanism that you almost cherish in some way, which of course is very logical when you are a little child and your very first important thing in life is to keep yourself safe and survive. You take this mechanism, this protection mechanism of people pleasing with you. Especially when you grew up experiencing that who you were authentically wasn't good enough, was shamed or blamed or rejected over and over again, or wasn't even seen, validated, or recognized because you had emotionally absent parents. You learn that who you are truly and authentically isn't good enough, or isn't wished, or isn't right in some way. And you internalize a story over time that you are not worthy of existence. You are not good enough. You are a bad person, for example. And when you have these stories living inside of you, which were created in all kinds of situations, then this comes with a lot of heavy and intense emotions such as shame and grief, anger, resentment, sadness, even depression, loneliness. And these emotions are so intense for a little child to experience that you cannot process them on your own. And if nobody is there to help you go through that, because there's no emotionally mature adult around, then you don't know what to do with it, and the only thing that you can do is dissociate from these heavy emotions or suppress these heavy emotions and create protection mechanisms to never ever feel those emotions again. And people pleasing is such a protection mechanism. It's a relationship mechanism that keeps you safe. It makes sure that people do not get angry with you, do not reject you, do not abandon you, and stay connected to you. Because as a little child, connection is the most important thing to experience. Because connection is keeping you safe and helps you to survive. Disconnection then is a true threat to your survival. So every time you experience disconnection, you don't understand what is happening. And if there are no adults present with you, understanding that they have to repair the connection, that do not understand that this connection is a real threat to your survival and really is really traumatizing for you, then the only thing that you can do as a little child is to make sure that the disconnection gets connected again, right? So that you get connected to your primary attachment figures again. So you do your best to stay connected. And if there is disconnection, you do your best to create connection again. And you can create all kinds of mechanisms, relationship mechanisms to create connection again. And people pleasing is one of them. And it's not really crazy or illogical that we create this mechanism of people pleasing in a society that is asking of us already from a very young age to self-abandon and to suppress our authentic self. A society that is teaching us from a very young age that it is not safe to be who you truly are, because you will not succeed in life and in the systems that are very oppressive, patriarchal, emotionally immature, and asking of you to leave your true self to succeed in the systems. Systems that are being built by men, for men, and especially white, straight, heteronormative men living centuries and centuries ago. And if you're not that norm, and you do not conform or try to be that norm, you will not succeed in that system. And not succeeding in that system means that you will not receive the money that you need in that system, in our system, to survive. So it's not really illogical that we create people-pleasing collectively to keep ourselves safe. But we also create people-pleasing inside our family homes when we feel unsafe inside our family homes. And this can be, as I said, with parents that are emotionally immature, emotionally explosive, addicted to substances, parents that use a lot of yelling and blaming and shaming to make you conform, to make you walk in line, to make you behave. If it was not safe in your family system to be an authentic individual with its own opinion, you learn to people please. As I said, you always choose connection and attachment over authenticity as a little child, almost always, because it's safer for you. And behind people pleasing, there's a lot of shame, feelings of unworthiness, insecurities, feelings of inadequacy, feelings of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of love. It's not safe to express my authentic self. So if you are a people pleaser, you have experienced some form of unsafety over a prolonged period of time in your childhood. This can be in your family system or in your school system or in the religious system you grew up in. But that you have experienced unsafety is a fact. And if you have experienced that unsafety, you learned from a very young age that it's not safe to have emotions, to have an opinion, to be your authentic self, to have boundaries, to say no. So every time you felt your no, your own opinion, your authenticity, your desire, or a need coming up, or anger, or whatever coming up, there was a conflict inside of you because you knew that it wasn't safe to experience that. So you felt this conflict of, I have a need, I have a desire, I have an authentic self-expression that wants to be expressed through me, but it's not safe to express that, so I have to suppress it. So you have used a lot of energy to suppress all of your authentic needs, desires, ideas, creativity, opinions, interests inside of you, because it was so unsafe to express it. And as a people pleaser, you suppressed that. Even maybe made yourself believe that you do not have that, and focused completely on the people around you. You focused completely on the emotional state of the people around you. You focused completely on their opinions, on their wishes, on their desires. And you made sure that their desires and their needs were being met, that their opinions were being heard, that they were being heard, that if they felt sad, you dropped to that level of sadness and felt sad with them. If they felt angry, maybe you got angry with them or you kept yourself small. If they felt joy, you allowed yourself to feel joy, but you never allowed yourself to be in a different state, a different opinion, an individual in relation to other people. And as I said, there is then trauma inside of you around being an individual and having your own needs, opinions, desires, and boundaries and emotional states. But it was too unsafe to express that in the past. So you suppressed that. Often this is because one or two of your parents or caretakers were emotionally immature, and the only thing to help yourself survive and stay safe was to please them instead of let them please you as the child of them. And this relationship mechanism, this protection mechanisms, this is the only thing you know. This is the only thing you know to keep yourself safe and to receive some love, recognition, validation in relationships. So you take that with you when you grow up. And now when you are at your job or in your relationship or with friends, you do not feel safe to have your own opinion, to have your own needs, to have your own boundaries, to have a no, to express your no. And you continuously please others, adapt to their emotional state, tell others that you do not have an opinion, that it doesn't matter. Well, actually you do, but you've suppressed it so much that maybe you do not even know you have your own opinion and boundaries and emotional states. But it still feels so unsafe. And as a recovering people pleaser, I'm still very much a pleaser, but more aware. And so I am now working on, because of course I'm aware of it, now working on not pleasing immediately anymore, but starting to feel and attune to what is happening inside of me and starting with expressing that. And as I do that, I realize and I notice that when I do that, immediately it is being followed with an enormous alarm system, an enormous feeling of feeling unsafe, of unsafety. I experience some sweating, some trembling voice, some tension, some tightness. And it is so interesting to me how big of a bodily response I have when I express my individuality, when I do not please but express my individuality. I can get into my mind self-doubt immediately, the truth that is living inside of me, etc. So do not be too hard on yourself when you have created people pleasing as a protection mechanism, because probably there's very, very much unsafety inside of you. And this unsafety, I always say, this unsafety is this very little child that needs soothing, needs safety, needs care, needs to be listened to and to almost finally grow up. Because I always say that the wounded parts inside of us are still stuck and tied to the past, to those moments that they were created. And as long as we don't retrieve them, feel the emotions that are buried there, release these emotions, integrate and reparent ourselves, take those parts with us into the present moment and show them that you're an adult now and that you can keep yourself safe, these parts will still be triggered every day or weekly or monthly and holding you back from healing or transforming yourself in your life or transforming your people-pleasing behavior. So you created people-pleasing as a mechanism to keep yourself safe, to stay connected to the people around you, often your primary attachment figures, because they were the ones who had to keep you safe and help you survive and feed you and give you love and recognition and validation, right? Our basic and emotional, physical, relational needs. And if our basic, relational, emotional, physical needs weren't met over a prolonged period of time because your parents weren't capable of giving you that or meeting those needs fully, you learn that people-pleasing is a way to covertly get your needs met. So while as a little child it was a way to keep yourself safe, to protect yourself and to covertly get your needs met, you still use it up until today to covertly get the needs met that were never met in your childhood. So people-pleasing, although it seems like a very altruistic and kind, loving, sweet thing to do to others, which in part it is, you also have this mechanism to covertly get your needs met, because you never learned to communicate your needs. You never learned to feel your needs. You learned to suppress them, not have them. It was not allowed. It was not safe. And you learned to covertly get your needs met. So now also in relationships, you are probably not very good at feeling what you need and expressing that need. You do not dare to be that vulnerable. You use the pleasing as a mechanism to covertly get your needs met, because overtly asking for your needs to be met feels unsafe, feels too much, feels too vulnerable. You feel too ashamed for even having needs. You feel you're not worthy of having your needs met. You feel almost like a bad person for having the needs, for asking for what you need, etc. It can be all kinds of things. And it's really sad, right? If I say this out loud, I feel also the grief and the sadness behind it, that a child has to learn that its needs don't matter, or there's no room for their needs, and they feel ashamed for the needs, and they feel ashamed for who they truly are. They never really are mirrored and never really get reflected back their authenticity, etc. And that it feels so alone and just wants to be seen and loved so much, and the only thing that it allows itself to do is to please others and to give others everything they need in the hope that in the end it will receive what it needs. That's really sad. So don't be too hard on this people-pleasing part of you, because it's one of your most vulnerable parts, right? It's one of the most vulnerable parts that really tries to meet its needs of connection, love, closeness, validation, physical touch, receiving compliments, being seen. I really lost where I was with my story, but I felt like I wanted to share this. I was saying that it has an agenda, the people pleasing, right? And that it's covertly meeting your needs. And you're still doing that in your relationships right now. And the interesting part about that is, if you find yourself often feeling resentful in relationships, angry, not feeling loved well, as if you give more than the other, etc., then it is possible that you are a pleaser and that you hope by pleasing that you get your needs met, but you never really communicate what you need, so you cannot receive what you need. People cannot give you what you need if you do not ask them. So resentment is also a nice indicator of you being a people pleaser and not daring to share what you really need, what you really want, but trying to get your needs and your wants by pleasing, by giving everything, by adapting, by completely self-abandoning, by completely unmeshing with the other person. I also have a video on enmeshment. You can watch the video about enmeshment. You completely self-abandon as a people pleaser. You become the person you think the other one expects of you, and by doing that, you hope to receive finally the things that you so desperately want and need. And if you are aware of that, and if you know that people pleasing gets triggered when you feel unsafe to be your authentic individual self, to have an opinion, to say your no, when you know your pleasing is triggered when you feel something inside, such as a boundary, an opinion, or a no, that is being perceived as a threat when you express it, then your pleasing will be triggered. You will make yourself small, you will adapt to the emotional state of the other person, you will conform to what they expect of you, etc. You will not dare to express your individuality and create a little bit of disconnection, because disconnection is the biggest trigger for the people pleasing. So there's a trauma around disconnection, right? And to overcome the people pleasing, or to start and work with it and slowly transform it, because it's a process, right? You have to work with the trauma around disconnection. And working with the trauma around disconnection means starting to sit with the unsafety that you experience when expressing your individuality. Start with sitting with the guilt, the shame. And this is reliving the emotions from the past as a little child that were so intense to process. And this is reliving these emotions, doing exercise like parts work and retrieval and somatic healing work to get back to the past, retrieve and integrate and heal those parts. Take them with you, and in the present moment, start with expressing your individuality and start with creating and increasing your emotional tolerance of the unsafety that you feel inside your body, which is sweating, trembling, being nauseous, getting all warm, etc. And not run away anymore from those sensations, but just sit with them and be the parent that you never had. Be the parent who soothes, who comforts, who says it's okay, you're safe, it's okay, you're safe. It's okay to say no. It's okay to have a different need. It's okay to be an authentic individual, a separate individual. It's okay to say no. And yes, you will lose connection sometimes. You will get rejected or abandoned. And then it is sitting with the emotions around rejection and abandonment. You can do that on your own. You can use my tools in my web shop. I've created somatic exercises, half an hour, 45 minutes to sit with those heavy and intense emotions. You can also find these exercises on my online platform, become a member and have access to all of my tools. But it's creating and increasing the emotional tolerance to sit with this fear of abandonment, with the grief of abandonment and rejection, and the anxiety around disconnection. And slowly over time, you will get used to that more and more and more. And you will start to get to know yourself like, this is how I respond when I express my individuality. Guilt, shame, fear, anger, anxiety. And the more you revisited those emotions and release them and work through them, the more you dare to express your no, your boundary, your individuality. The more you can say, hey, this doesn't feel right to me right now. I will get back to it. I will think about it. Or, no, I don't want to. Or, hey, I have the feeling that you are expecting this from me. Am I correct? Right? Because in the end, healing and overcoming our protection mechanisms, our self-sabotaging mechanisms, is communication, vulnerability, sharing. And communication, vulnerability, and sharing always creates connection. Maybe not always in the way that we perceive is best for everybody, but it is creating true connection to ourselves. And from true connection to ourselves, we can connect truly with others. And this is what we truly crave, right? True, honest, authentic connection. Because we were deprived of that from a very young age. Our innocence, our true, authentic connection with ourselves and with others is taken away from us because of the society that we are living in. Because of all the trauma, because of our very traumatized, dysregulated, stressed family systems. And the more I can tolerate all these heavy and intense emotions that are triggered when I feel unsafe and when I experience disconnection, where I normally would start to please, the more I can tolerate them, the more I can breathe through them, and the more I can choose different behavior in the present moment. And when I have created a pause and the emotional tolerance to choose different behavior in the present moment, that is when I finally start with transforming myself in my life. So transformation is not big, grand, and bold. It starts with very true, small, vulnerable little steps. It starts with recognizing that you are a people pleaser, understanding why you have created this mechanism, where it is coming from, who you first in your life wanted to please so much because it felt so unsafe to be yourself and to not please, and why, and how these mechanisms, how people pleasing is showing itself in your life right now, when it is triggered the most, what happens to you when you do not do it. So recognize the shame, the fear, the guilt, and choose new behavior, choose ways that work for you to create safety inside, and from that safety, choose different behavior. And that is when you over time can get rid or overcome your people pleasing. But it's really a process, a journey. And you really have to find the people that are willing to do this with you and that are open for that understand how hard it is for you and that want to give you this safety. This is really important. Find the people who want to give you this safety. And then let's go and do it. Good luck. Hey there, my name is Myrthe Glasbergen. I'm the founder of Beyond Psychology, and I'm also an occupational health psychologist, life and job coach, intuitive singer, and creator. And I am fascinated about the awakening and healing of humanity. I strongly believe that healed people heal the world, and this is why I'm doing everything I can to help heal as many people as possible. So if you're on a journey of self-discovery, personal growth, transformation, healing, and you want to rediscover who you truly are and change yourself in your life, then subscribe to my channel for more videos on all of these topics. And if you want to help spread this message of awakening and healing, then please like this video, share this video, respond to this video, because that will definitely help. In my subscription, you can find a nice link to a free somatic exercise to start your healing journey. And you can also find the link to my online platform and community for self-discovery, healing, transformation, and growth. It's called Heart Journey, and it's here to help you rediscover who you truly are, heal yourself, transform yourself in your life so that you will use your talents and your gifts to make the world a better place. Thank you for being here and have a nice day.